dialogue between the owners and the league about pitchers' substance usage on the mound. And I know
Yep.
that's something you've expressed public opinions about recently.
Mhm.
How long has that been on your mind? And do you have ideas as to enforcement or changes you would like to see done?
Yeah, definitely. I've been in touch with Major League Baseball. I've been in touch with, giving them my insight. To me, I think that really if they want to, and here's the deal, hitters have never cared about sunscreen rosin or pine tar. We haven't cared about that because it's not a performance enhancement. What these guys are doing now are performance enhancing, to where it is actual like super glue type of ordeal, to where it's not about command anymore. Because when you go look at uh, areas that would show command, walks are up, hit by pitches that are all-time high on a pace. So those two areas tell you that it's not about command. Now it's about who's throwing the nastiest pitches, right? And the more unhittable pitches. And it's proven, because I have data of all of these guys, that you can create more RPM, which is spin rate, through this. And my biggest suggestion right now, if you want to clean the game up, because this is, to me, this is going to be the next steroids of baseball ordeal, because it is cheating and it is performance enhancing. And the only way to get it through and to get it out of the game is if they get checked every half inning. It's if a new pitcher comes out, they get checked immediately by the umpire. And once they start doing that, it'll be gone. And you're going to start seeing offense come back into the game. You're going to see contact come back into the game. And a lot of these guys that are not as good as their numbers are saying will be out of the game. They'll be done. And that's where it should be, because guys are blatantly cheating, and it's really not even funny. And you're talking about guys or careers or hitting wise are going down as well.
Do you is it as easy as looking at StatCast and seeing whose guys' spin rates have increased? I mean, is that a good place to start?
It's a great place to start. And you obviously know what pitches need to spin more: off speed, fastball. Sinker ball guys really aren't as much. They don't really want spin, right? But if they have movement, they're trying to get the ball to move more. And I think, ultimately at the end of the day, the head guy of all this pitching stuff, Trevor Bauer, said that to get anything over 200-300 RPMs, and all that he's tested, the only thing to get there is by using these illegal substances. And to me, everybody made a huge ordeal out of the sign stealing incident. Now, I believe that if people use technology to steal signs, that's wrong. And I would not be a part of that. But also on the flip side, that was never in the rule book, as far as breaking a rule, right? And you've heard a lot of people cry wolf over that. Well, now all of a sudden, these guys have found a competitive advantage that's against the rules of baseball. And to where now we have a situation to where I literally think that Trevor Bauer at the beginning of all this was wanting to stop guys from cheating. And his big guy that he went after was Gerrit Cole. And is it a coincidence that Gerrit Cole's spin rate numbers went down yesterday after 4 minor leagues get suspended for 10 games? Is it Is that possible? I don't know. Maybe. At the same time, with this situation, they've let guys do it, and Trevor Bauer's been vocal about, hey, these are the substances that guys mix together. Well, now as a pitcher, if you sit here and say like, oh, hey, these guys are getting away from it, this guy's getting 325 million, this guy's getting paid, this guy's doing this, they're not cracking down on it. Why wouldn't I do it? So that's where we're at in the game. And that's why, Nelson and I were having a conversation yesterday about this. Like, do you know how many pitches I've seen in my life as a hitter and as a catcher? Like, I caught for 7 years. I saw a lot of pitches in my life. Let's just say that. So when something is different, and Nelson as well, Nelson's seen a lot of pitches. He's seen more than I have. Like, so when something is different, like, we pick that up. Like, it would be like sending a counterfeit $20 bill to a bank teller that's had 20 years of experience. Like, that person's going to know that that's not real. And so as a hitter, and the experience that I've developed over the years, I know like when a fastball should not be moving like that, or a slider that should not be doing that. Like, that's different. And to where now, if you look at it across the league in 2017, there was 4 pitchers that had a spin rate on their fastball of 2,400 RPMs or more. Okay. Now that's league average. Now that's league average. So think about that. You think everybody before 2017 was throwing the baseball wrong? No.
So you say you've been in dialogue with the league about this. What channels of communications do you have to raise these concerns, and how often and when, I guess, did you begin doing so?
I mean, really, it's honestly, I with 2020, and as Chris had mentioned earlier, not really being able to see video as much and throughout the game and seeing how pitches are moving as much, you kind of turned an eye away from it. And I played 20-some games. So in 2019, I started noticing it a little bit. This year, I've noticed it just way more throughout the league. It's almost like every time you go up there, we're facing the Baltimore Orioles and guys I've never heard of. They're throwing like 2,600 RPM fastballs with 3,100 RPM sliders. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. Never heard of this guy before, never seen his, and then all of a sudden, these numbers start popping up. And so, I mean, it makes it, your eyes kind of, so you start digging into evidence of improvements, what's happening, what's doing this, what's doing that. And that's, so to give you another little tidbit. So in 2019, I think there were 700 sliders that were thrown at 90 miles an hour or more. The league is on pace right now for 4,000. So the better you can grip that thing, the harder you can throw it. The whole thing with pitching is with the slider, hey, you don't want to try to throw it too hard because it pops out of your hand and now you throw the hanger. Well, now they're able to grip this thing as hard as they want, release, hold on to it as long as they want. Now you're getting on pace for over 4,000 90-mile-an-hour sliders.
Josh, have you noticed, like, when balls are in play, whether they're returned to the dugout or not, players notice, right, that the ball is stickier when it's put out of play, or maybe even put in play?
Oh, well, so I'm not really getting to see the other opposition's balls that they're throwing. you know, I have, I felt that it was a little bit different on some balls that were hit, as far as like how they're spinning, but I haven't got to see any of the other teams, the balls that are being pitched with.